Boston in the 1700s was the beating heart of colonial America, a city of 16,000 souls perched on a peninsula jutting into Massachusetts Bay, connected to the mainland by a narrow neck of land that flooded at high tide. This was a city of wooden houses pressed close together, of church spires rising above cobbled streets, of merchant wharves stretching into the harbor like fingers grasping at fortune. But Boston was more than commerce. It was the intellectual capital of the colonies, home to Harvard College across the river, to printing presses that spread revolutionary ideas, and to minds that would challenge an empire. Thanks to advanced AI technology, we can now bring these streets back to life, transforming period engravings and paintings into photorealistic scenes, allowing us to walk where the founders walked and see the city that sparked a revolution. This is Boston Harbor in the 1760s, one of the busiest ports in the British Empire. From this vantage point, you're seeing the lifeblood of colonial Boston. Dozens of merchant vessels crowd the wharves, their masts creating a forest of timber against the skyline. These ships carried cod to the Caribbean, rum to Africa, and manufactured goods back from London. The elegant church spires punctuating the skyline belong to the Old North Church, Christ Church, and the Old South Meeting House, each competing to reach closest to heaven, while merchants below competed for earthly profits. Notice Long Wharf stretching nearly half a mile into the harbor. Built in 1710, it was the longest pier in North America, allowing large vessels to dock directly rather than anchoring offshore. The buildings lining the wharf housed counting houses, warehouses, and taverns where captains, merchants, and sailors struck deals that connected Boston to the world. Within a decade of this scene, these same waters would host the Boston Tea Party, forever changing the relationship between these colonies and the Crown.
Faneuil Hall, completed in 1742, was Boston's marketplace and meeting hall, a gift to the city from wealthy merchant Peter Faneuil. The ground floor bustled with vendors selling meat, produce, and fish beneath its open arcades, while the assembly hall above hosted town meetings where Boston citizens debated the issues of the day. This building earned its nickname, the Cradle of Liberty, because it was here that Samuel Adams, James Otis, and other patriots delivered fiery speeches against British taxation and tyranny. The words spoken in that upper hall would echo across the colonies, inspiring resistance that became revolution. The grasshopper weather vane atop the building, copied from London's Royal Exchange, became a symbol of Boston itself. During the British occupation, redcoats would use the hall as a theater, performing plays to entertain officers, while outside, tensions simmered toward rebellion. Today, Faneuil Hall still stands, still hosts public meetings, and remains a vibrant marketplace, making it one of America's oldest continuously used public buildings. The Old State House, built in 1713, was the seat of colonial government and the most important building in Massachusetts. From its balcony, royal governors proclaimed new laws, and British officials conducted the colony's business. The lion and unicorn adorning the building's east facade represented the Crown's authority over these distant subjects. But on July 18, 1776, just days after independence was declared in Philadelphia, Colonel Thomas Crafts stood on that same balcony and read the Declaration of Independence to cheering crowds below. The lion and unicorn were torn down that day, symbols of a rejected past. This building witnessed the Boston Massacre in 1770, when British soldiers fired into a crowd of colonists on the street below, killing 5 men, including Crispus Attucks, whose death made him one of the first casualties of the coming revolution. The circle of cobblestones marking the massacre site remains embedded in the street today, a permanent reminder of that March evening when tension became bloodshed.
King's Chapel, Built between 1749 and 1754, was Boston's Anglican Church, the religious home of royal officials and loyalist families. Its distinctive stone construction set it apart from the wooden churches surrounding it. The original wooden chapel from 1686 stood on this site until this elegant Georgian structure replaced it. The builders faced a challenge. They had to construct the new stone church around the old wooden one so services could continue uninterrupted, then dismantle the wooden church from inside the stone walls once complete. During the Revolution, this church lost its royal congregation as loyalists fled to Canada or England. Rather than close, the congregation made a remarkable transformation, becoming America's first Unitarian church in 1785, rejecting Anglican doctrine entirely. The church's graveyard, Boston's oldest, contains graves dating to 1630, including Governor John Winthrop and other founding families of Massachusetts Bay Colony. Boston Common was America's oldest public park, established in 1634 as common grazing land for the town's cattle. By the 1700s, it served multiple purposes. Militia drilled here, public executions took place on the Great Elm, and townspeople strolled its paths on Sunday afternoons. The Common was simultaneously pastoral refuge and public stage. During the British occupation from 1768 onward, redcoats camped here in tents, their presence a constant reminder of imperial authority. The soldiers would march from the Common down to the harbor, their drums and fifes echoing through narrow streets, maintaining order in an increasingly restive city. After the Revolution began, the Common became a patriot gathering place, though much of its western edge remained pasture land well into the 1800s. The cemetery just beyond the Common's edge is the Granary Burying Ground, where Paul Revere, Samuel Adams, John Hancock, and the victims of the Boston Massacre would eventually rest.
This is the Old North Church, officially Christ Church, built in 1723 in the North End. Its 191-foot steeple was Boston's tallest structure and a crucial navigation landmark for ships entering the harbor. But this church earned its place in history on the night of April 18, 1775, when Sexton Robert Newman climbed into that steeple and hung 2 lanterns, signaling to Paul Revere across the Charles River that British troops were departing by sea to seize colonial weapons in Concord. 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. Those lanterns sparked the midnight ride that warned the countryside and led to the battles of Lexington and Concord the next morning, the shots heard round the world that began the Revolutionary War. The church itself survived the war intact, one of the few Anglican churches not damaged or closed, partly because its congregation included both patriots and loyalists who protected it. This is Boston as our founders knew it. A city of wooden houses and church spires, of merchant ambition and revolutionary fervor, where ideas as much as goods were traded, and where the seeds of a new nation took root in streets that still exist today. History has preserved countless engravings and paintings of cities across America and beyond, waiting to be brought back to life. So tell us in the comments, which American city should we visit next? Your choice could be featured in our next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the past.